Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and also on the Hockey Podcast Network, also known as THPN. I want to thank Dylan and Kyle once and always for having me on board that awesome network coming in from Vancouver, British Columbia. And it is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today to talk Minnesota Wild. Going to get caught up a little bit. This should be a fairly short show. We'll see. Also want to kind of got some interesting messages from Derek. I mean, and I say it in a positive way. Very informative and cool stuff. So I'll probably kind of like, that'll kind of be like you could call it the fan interaction segment. It's actually some very interesting stuff, and I feel really bad because I just get caught up in, the two-job thing, and especially this time of year, now, into late October, into, all the way pretty much through November, the fall cleanup season. It's hard. And, the newer job, again, adjusting to it. Same company, but, it's a little bit higher up, a little more going on. So, again, apologize. Obviously, and the good news is the Thanksgiving show is coming, and eventually that usually means back down to one job, and this will be like the second job, the podcasting world. So apologize for my absence, and apologize for being so doggone invisible. So like on Twitter, at Brave the Wild, like I get these great messages from Derek, and then he's, it's like, and then I'm just like not even there. So I apologize to Derek and anybody else that's been sending me messages also. Connor Acker, also nice to meet you as well recently. So on the, I don't know why I'm forgetting the name of the app. I believe it's called, my brain is just like, because I did a lot of, what did I walk, like 21,000 steps today? Slack. Okay, I was going to call it Sling. I'm like, no, that's kind of like a cable TV thing. Yep, Connor Acker, yep, great guy. Nice to meet you, Connor. And yes, yep, I'll be probably going on a show at some point with him, part of the Hockey Podcast Network. I wanted to talk Iowa Wild, so in case he's listening, that would be cool. So, yeah, I think that's great that he talked about that. I really apologize again. Same reason, not getting back. I've been freaking invisible. So, my apologies, my sincere apologies to anybody trying to get in touch with me. It kind of is what it is. It's probably stunted the growth of the show over the many, many years. And this is the third oldest show. I've probably mentioned that like 15 times already, but it's the third oldest podcast in Minnesota. It is the third oldest podcast in Minnesota, be it sports or whatever, but Minnesota-based podcast. Yes, oldest, like longest lasting, but it's had its ups, it's had its downs. It's definitely not down or anything. It's been wonderful the last 6 years or so. And obviously people like, especially Derek, I'd have to thank for the show growing over the year, the last 5-6 years especially. It was pretty stagnant for a long time, the show. It was slowly growing when I didn't really realize it was growing. But enough of that, enough of me. The Minnesota Wild have had their ups, they've had their downs. One night, Jesper Wallstedt gets a shutout. The next night, the Wild can't beat the Sharks in overtime. That's kind of been the theme this season so far. Getting our asses handed to us the night that was the last show I recorded. No, it was before that. When did I last record? I think it was the 18th. Yeah, we lost 2-1 to Philadelphia. What the heck? Wasn't that October 18th? Was that the last episode? It just tells you. This is kind of where I'm at right now. Did we play? When's the last time we played? Yeah, October 18th was the last recording. This is a Friday night show. So, again, kind of spur of the moment stuff. So I didn't send out any bat signal. And this is completely spur of the moment. It's partially because I saw the messages in there. I'm like, ooh, I should get on the air. I really should. It's just kind of feels like, it's just a feeling, when you just get like a feeling? Yeah. The thing, like a certain ex-president used to say sometimes, and when he tried to shake hands with Easter Bunny, it's okay that he did that. I suppose it's entertaining. Yes, it was October 18th was the last episode, and it's October 14th, so do the math there. Jiminy Christmas. There's a lot of red, and I feel the same about the former Wild jerseys. I'm glad they haven't brought those back, the red ones. Kind of changed everything. That's why, like Yahoo Sports still shows the Minnesota Wild as a red theme. They're not a red team, you stupid blankety blankers. It's a green team. The Wild are green. Green and then red. Okay? Why don't the Timberwolves just be lime green? Oh, wait. The basketball court that I'm seeing right now is lime green. Isn't that cute? Okay. I know. You get that. Awful start to the season. Thankfully, things started to kind of get back in order. John Hines did not get fired, whereas Dean Evison did when things were so awful and ugly leading into the month of November. Next thing you know, John Hines is the new head coach of the Wild. So that was probably some backdoor conversation going on at the time. Was it just 2 years ago? Oh, man. But John Hines is still the coach, as you know more than I do. 2-1 loss to Philadelphia. The Wild then come back and beat New York, which was kind of fun. 3-1 win. All right. Going to Ranger Land, going to Madison Square Garden of all places and winning. All right. But the Rangers aren't that good. Then the Wild follow up with getting their butts kicked 4-1 to New Jersey. Check out the State of the Devils podcast. It's a great podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. The Mammoth, the Wild get their asses handed to them by the Utah Mammoth in Xcel Energy Center. Friday the 25th, wonderful, of October, of course. 6-2 to the Utah Mammoth. Well, they are better. And, and the Sharks are better, too, if you didn't notice. Oh, yeah. Remember how I always talked about? Not that I'm some genius or anything for saying this, but, yeah, I mean, Scalabrini, of course. I think he's better than Connor Bedard, and I think everyone else is saying the same thing. I mean, you're hearing that from Lunani, you're hearing that from other people, you're hearing that from, I do believe, Russo and some other hockey people out there. Yep, Scalabrini's going to be better and is better. Celebrini is better than Connor Bedard, but both teams, and I've talked about this several times on the show, made sneaky, good, quiet moves, kind of like under our noses over the years. That Spencer Knight's suddenly a Blackhawk. Spencer Knight, remember the guy that was highly touted and then was drafted by Florida, of all teams, and then like the next day, basically, they signed Bob to a 10-year deal. It's like, oh, well, that's not going to work out. And then, they love Saros very much there in Nashville. Askarov was thought of as a spectacular goalie prospect, and all of a sudden he's on the Sharks. You know how things just kind of quietly happen, like trades happen and such. And it's like, you have these superstar skaters. Obviously, you need more than one guy, but they have time to build, and they've been building, the Sharks and the Blackhawks. But then you also have these really, really high-end goalie prospects to go with the teams, and it's like, these teams are going to be very dangerous soon, as long as they continue to build well around the Celebrinis and Connor Bedards, respectively, for their respective teams. They're going to be there's going to be something. They're going to be a threat, and they're already there. They're already winning games. Now they're not like a real threat, but they're like not getting their butts handed to them every night. They're not, like 25 games under 500 or anything like they used to be. That might be a slight exaggeration. I have no idea. It is what it is, but they're above 500. It's not this big spectacular number, but still they're above 500. Both the Sharks and the Blackhawks are above 500. That didn't take very long, did it? Again, they're not like, oh my God, Stanley Cup contender. No, but they might be soon. And how annoying is it when this team continues to lose in overtime? Guys, win an overtime game, please. What are we, 1-4 so far? What the bleep? Like, win some freaking overtime games. Including 2 to the Sharks, 6-5. You can't beat Winnipeg, 4-3 loss there. Can't beat Winnipeg either. Can't beat Winnipeg either. 4-3 loss to them. 4-1 ass whooping Pittsburgh Penguins to wrap up the month of October. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it. The Wild were celebrating Halloween. It was a trick, all right. They tricked their fans in Grand Casino Arena. The Grand, the casino. Let's go to the casino. Let's go to the G. Instead of the X, it's now the GC or the G. Let's just call it the G. I'll meet you at the G, guys. It rolls off your tongue, kind of, I guess. But the Penguins have been winning hockey games. Good for them. They're not great, but they're good. They're dangerous. They're healthy, and they're 900 years old, but they're winning some games and stuff. 4-1, yay. Kind of like they used to do to the Wild in the past. Used to smoke us and frustrate us. And then, the Wild actually won a game against Pittsburgh. Yeah, and then they'd get killed by, like, Calgary or something for the 450th time. The only time the Wild were really particularly good against the Calgary Flames, inaugural season. Pretty much. And this Justin Brazeau guy, yeah, remember him? How he did nothing here? 12 points for the Penguins, 6 goals, 6 assists. He had 22 points the entire bleeping season last year, and I think he had a goal with the Wild, basically. Another great trade. Great. Just exquisite. Matt Dumba's also on the Pittsburgh Penguins, but he's doing about what Matt Dumba did the last year or so, or two with the Minnesota Wild. He's got a point. He's got 1 assist. Anyone? Yeah, he's got 1 assist. Next. It's sad. It's crazy how things can change, but obviously it is what it is and whatever. But Penguins do have healthy players. Letang, Malkin. What's this one guy? Sid the kid. Yeah, he's not really a kid though. Sid the 38-year-old, or whatever he is at this point, getting older and older. Connor Dewar as well is a part of the Pittsburgh Penguins. You know what? As much fun as people made of Connor Dewar and all that, he's just limited. He's just, he doesn't really do much. Seth Topo locally, the Lockdown Wild, they're doing a great, he's doing a great job there. Made a pretty good point about, like Ben Jones doing nothing. What has he had, like 30 games and like no points in the NHL? Approximately 30 games. We'll get to him in a minute, his actual numbers. But, yeah. I'd rather have Connor Dewar than him. I would. I mean, at least he's doing something, for heaven's sake. At least he's doing something. So, and lately, was it very recently, Mr. Bill Guerin made a statement that, and I'm going to have to, I have a few things to say about Bill Guerin coming up here, but he made a statement about regarding people like Carson Lambos who are stuck in the AHL and all that, like, oh, Duncan Keith's played 2 years in the AHL and he's in the Hall of Fame now. And it's like, okay, thanks for that. That means everything. Not. So did AJ Thielen wasn't in the AHL. He was a little bit worse. That's a name that was brought up with Derek as well. Oh man, yeah. Derek made some good points here, and I'm gonna that'll be our fan interaction because there probably isn't gonna be too much. I've been literally invisible. The Wild then had a 5-2 win over the Vancouver Canucks. They realized we got to win a game or two once in a while. It'd be helpful to kind of compete. Well, they beat the Vancouver Canucks 5-2. That was pretty awesome on November the 1st. Then you beat Nashville 3-2. That was pretty cool. Another loss to Carolina 4-3. I don't know why this is all backwards looking. It looks stupid, but I don't know. I guess because we're the home team, whatever that means. Doesn't make any sense. Anyhow, New York Islanders a 5-2 win. That was pretty fun. Islanders have kind of gotten back in the swing of things. They actually have a better record than the Wild, but the Wild kind of came out to play Jesper Wallstedt a couple of good games in a row. I thought it was Jesper Wallstedt, by the way. Jesper Wallstedt, and all I ever hear from the Russos of the world, it's Jesper. He's been saying Jesper, but it's Jesper, isn't it? And I know Marco Rossi, and it's pronounced Rossi, but you can just call me Rossi. I tend to just come up and say the real pronunciation just for the hell of it. I don't think it's annoying anybody. I'm not trying to be better than anybody, because if I'm better than you, no, I'm really not actually. So don't worry, I'm not that full of myself. I'm really not. I'm seriously, you're probably way better than I am, no matter who you are, and I'm not being sarcastic. I will be sarcastic about Bill Guerin a bit here coming up. I mean, can I say this? Can I look at just look at this lineup here really quick? Now, obviously, how people are frustrated, like Urov should probably have a bigger role, and he's playing against the Islanders. He did get 11 minutes, and he had a goal. What is it? A second goal of his career there. So that was awesome. We appreciated that. That was really exciting. But how telling is this? And I know you might think, okay, well, this guy's less developed, and but still, Damon Hunt is in the lineup, and he actually played 16 and a half minutes, and he looks pretty good. And he was a +2 versus the Islanders. Okay, where's David Jiricek? Scratched. He's making popcorn with a certain former obnoxious, stupid idiot skater the Wild took in 2006. We'll be talking about him very shortly. I mean, wow. It just tells you something. I love that the Wild were able to get Damon Hunt, by the way. I love that the Wild were able to reacquire Damon Hunt. And he's been an NHL defenseman since he's been skating again with the Minnesota Wild and actually active. They finally have him active out there, not scratched, and he looks like an NHL defenseman. Isn't that great? And it's like, yes, what a concept. And I am happy that the Wild have Damon Hunt back, and he's not that old at all. What is he? He was born in 2002. He turned 23 this year, back on May 15th. So pretty cool. I don't know why my mind is thinking about, I'm thinking about Northern Lights here, but that was in 24, back in May that year, obviously on Veterans Day. If you got to go outside on Veterans Day after about 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, oh man. Speaking of, that was the greatest display of Northern Lights of all time. I hope you got to see it. Please tell me you got to see it. Please, anybody listening, please tell me you got to see that, because I mean, you might never see anything like that again. That's how good it was. We're going to look at the players again some more, but I don't know. It's just telling. The whole situation, Damon Hunt, coming back with Minnesota via the waivers and everything. Like Columbus kind of couldn't keep him because it just didn't have the roster spot to keep him. They were kind of full, I guess. Not meaning that they were so great, but they just were kind of full, and they had to just make a last-second cut, basically, right before the start of the season. And then, what the hell? Well, at least we got something back. So, regarding David Jiricek, he's got Dumba-like tendencies in a good way, like the skating and the powerful shot, but it's not as powerful as what Dumba's was before he became a way below average defenseman, like a guy that's, I don't know, the bottom of the team. I'm surprised he's still in the NHL, honestly. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm very surprised he's still in the NHL. I'm not even kidding. Matt Dumba, that is. Jiricek, this is the kind of trade that gets general managers fired. And I'm starting to read the tea leaves on that. And now, I don't think Bill Guerin's on the verge of getting fired just because of the way things are right now in the organization. But it could lead to its firing. This kind of trade could lead to its firing because they gave up too much. And, I mean, by the grace of God, Damon Hunt was released and we were actually able to claim him. And he's back and he's looking good, and I think the Wild should keep him long term. Not necessarily with a big, giant contract, but, as long as he's willing to stick around and, I can't imagine him being too expensive. Put it that way. I can't imagine him being too expensive, like, say, a Jesper Wallstedt at some point might be expensive for, when it's time for his major, signing. When it's time, when he's heading into restricted free agency and it's time to sign the next contract. Jesper Wallstedt could get a significant amount of money if he continues to take steps forward. So that's extremely positive in terms of the direction of the franchise, that at least Jesper Wallstedt is looking pretty good. Philip Gustafsson on the other side of things. Sorry if I sound funky and weird because, again, I got beat to hell. I'm tired. I walked I was up and down in hills doing lawn cleanups today. 21,000 steps. I'm still doing a podcast anyway because spur of the moment. But, funny, the contract year is over and he's not as good now. Surprise, surprise. Welcome to planet Earth, everyone. It's kind of like that when it comes to, most players as they head into their, their new contract. They're kind of more stable, they're comfortable and such. They're usually not as good the next year, and that's just an unfortunate fact going forward. Because, man, was Gustafsson good last year. And, of course, he was really good before he signed the, his most recent contract. Looking at the overall numbers, Kaprizov has had his ups, his downs. His stats are okay, but the eye test has not been all so great. And, he's not been spectacular out there where other star players have been. That's been a conversation. It's frustrating. Ziv Buium in his first, real rookie season here, 10 points in 18 games. And they've taken him off the main power play, which is annoying. He is a -10. He does make mistakes, but again, he's 19? So, I mean, come on, guys. That's kind of annoying. Everybody's minus something. Marco Rossi's injured now. That's frustrating. 13 points in 17 games. He's definitely slowed down after a spectacular start, but now he's injured. So that continues to suck. Ben Jones, who was on the Wild several games last year, had 0 points in 26 games. 0 points in 26 games. 6 games this year, he's got 0 points. 2 games with the Vegas Golden Knights in 21-22, 0 points. 34 games, 0 points for Ben Jones. So he's played 26 games this year last year. He played 26 games last year for the Wild and didn't score a single point. I mean, I guess he wins a face-off once in a while. Is that what the talk is? I guess. I mean, yeah, I know. It's just, he does, but it's like, yeah, but he doesn't do anything else. Like, come on, Bloody hell, mate. It doesn't make any sense. Tyler Pitlick, 9 games, no points. 9 games, no points. David Jiricek, 12 games, no points. Nothing. Zippo, nada. And he's got 9 shots on goal. 9 shots on goal in 12 games. Bill Guerin, you're fired! Yes, it's the kind of trade that gets general managers fired. Again, because one of the throw-in pieces, Damon Hunt, and I know he wasn't really like a garbage player thrown in. He's a legitimate warm body who actually, still had a chance, still had some upside when he got traded for David Jiricek to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And by, again, the grace of God, they just didn't have a spot for him, and we were able to get him back. But the draft picks aren't coming back. And I don't think David Jiricek is going to live up to his, 7th overall pick spot. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. Do you think it's going to happen? Because I seriously don't. Anyone out there, raise your hand. Do you think David Jiricek's going to live up to his draft position? I don't think so. It's starting to look like starting to look like a certain other trade that happened many years ago when this Chuck Fletcher guy made a trade with the Blackhawks. Yeah, remember that one? The guy didn't go on to be like a legend or anything, but he's a nice player. Remember way back in 2009? It's starting to look like that trade. Wonderful start for Chuck Fletcher, by the way. Great trade. But remember what we got back? Remember? Spectacular player we got back, defenseman named Cam frickin' Barker, who was one of the biggest busts in NHL history. And I'm not even kidding. I mean, what was he, the 3rd overall pick? And he was like literally worthless. Like, what are you doing, guy? It was kind of like one of those. Nick Leddy was the player, of course, that the Wild acquired. I'm having nightmares about that one, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm having nightmares. That was a frickin' horrifying trade. It was horrifying. I'm not trying to be a jackass or be. And I'm looking at James Shepard. Yeah, we're going to get to him in a minute, but that trade still gives me nightmares just thinking about it. Like Cam bleeping Barker. Should we look at Cam Barker here for a minute? You wanna? Is that okay? Shall we revisit Cam Barker? Man, he's 39 now. Doesn't even look like a good player in his profile. But he did have 40 points once for the Blackhawks. Good for him. He did have one good season. One. Comes to Minnesota, and it didn't do a whole lot. So maybe it wasn't the biggest bust in NHL history. I mean, A.J. Thielen's probably worse. But just saying, it was one of the crappiest trades ever. Because he just wasn't a good defender, and his offense didn't seem to exist, really. It just wasn't meant to be. And I did exaggerate by saying biggest bust ever, but one of the worst trades ever, because it's like after the trade, clearly he wasn't good. He just wasn't good. And the Blackhawks kind of saw the writing on the wall when he went from 40 points to 14 the next year. Clearly, it's like, this guy's not real good. I don't know. And before you know it, he was out of the league because he just wasn't good. And I don't know. That might be something. Might be heading in that direction with Jiricek. I don't want to believe he's a complete bust, and this is going to be a discussed like just an absolute wash of a trade, but at least an absolute bust of a trade. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder because I'm not seeing anything really. I'm not seeing anything. Are you? Liam Ogren only 5 games and no points. Frustrating. Of course, he was in a minimal role. That didn't help his cause at all. I just don't know what to tell you. Marcus Foligno has, 1 assist all season? What the hell is that? Does he have 1 point? Yeah, 1 assist in 17 games. What was the fourth line, Nick? Ben Jones, yeah, Foligno, and what was the Yakov Trenin? Well, he's got 3 points at least. He's got 3 assists in 18 games. Well, there you go. There's your best player on your fourth line. Woo! At least Danilo Urov got promoted to the third line, of course, with the injury to Marco Rossi. But I don't know. Danilo Urov does deserve. You're seeing something. You're seeing defensive capabilities. You're seeing offensive capabilities. There's something there, and he's still developing. He's young. He's not Kirill Kaprizov coming in at, in his mid-20s. He's a lot younger. So that's the good part with his unfortunate lack of production, generally speaking. And, of course, again, the role he's been in isn't anything special either. So you got that as well. December 22nd, 2003. He will turn, Daniil Yurov will turn 22. It'll be his golden birthday this year. So wahoo to that. Ryan Harmon on the top line with 6 points in 18 games. That's a 0.3 points a game. And he's on your top line. I just don't know, man. But the positive of positives is Marcos Johansson. He's having like a career year, basically. At, 32, 33, is he? Yeah. Oh, my God. He's much older. He's 35. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still stuck in the past here with Marcos Johansson. 35 years old just recently, and he's been spectacular. he's almost halfway to last year's point total and goals. It's kind of crazy. 15 points in 18 games. Marcus Johansson's been a wonderful story so far this year. This is the smallest contract he's basically had. So basically going back to his entry-level deal many moons ago. It's kind of funny when you think about that. He's the third leading scorer on the team. So great, great story, I guess. But I don't know what else to tell you. It's a great story, I guess. Jesper Wallstedt, 2.51 goals against average, and he did get that shutout versus Calgary, and we appreciate it. Philip Gustafson's had his ups and his downs. He started out the season with a shutout versus this great St. Louis team we all thought was going to be a nice surprise this year, and they've been one of the great busts of the year, like huge bust. So it is what it is. At least he got the shutout, but since then, Philip Gustafson has been a little bit of a bust as well. But I don't know. I'm not giving up on him or anything, but the vision here is, at least in the goaltending side of things, it's starting to, it's kind of heading in the direction I was sort of hoping it was going to happen, where, it'd be Gustafson and Wallstedt. Gustafson ends up being the main goalie. Eventually Wallstedt moves up and becomes the starter, so on and so forth. Or he ends up being like a platoon or whatever. And it's not the end of the world, but and eventually Wallstedt becomes a starter, and Gustafson transitions into the backup, but still getting tons and tons of games between the pipes, one way or another, because you don't want to overuse goaltenders, because we've seen the result of that. It's just not a thing anymore. It's not worth it at all. I mean, it's just not. You don't overuse goaltenders anymore, because it's like magically later in the season or the next couple of years down the road, they start sucking, like a guy named Devin Dubnyk. So it's just the way it is. They get tired. They're I don't know. They start getting hurt all the time, and that becomes a huge frustration, to say the least. So generally speaking, since the last episode of Brave the Wild, should I pass out a Mike Modano award? It's like statistically you could say Kirill, I guess, but nah, it can't be Kirill Kaprizov. I can't do it. I'm scared. But I guess because he's been such a wonderful story, Marcus Johansson is going to be the Mike Modano Award winner for this episode. Maybe for the first and maybe last time. Maybe I gave it to him a year or 2 years, 3 years ago for like one of the episodes when it's like a week and he had a good week. But I guess he gets it. He's been a wonderful story. I mean, thank you for consistently being good so far this year. I appreciate it. The James Shepard Memorial Popcorn Maker. Now, the conversation here about James Shepard, I'll save it. So I was about to start up on that. The Popcorn Maker thing, did it with Jiricek. I'm just not seeing it, buddy. So I'm hoping. Otherwise, Bill Guerin, I mean, it's for making weird comments, and I don't know. It's not working out, bottom line. I mean, stop signing the Ben Joneses and start playing the Liam Ogrens. You know what I mean? Or trade Liam Ogren. Like, play him or trade him, please. Like, make, bleep or get off the pot. That type of thing. Stop signing the Yakov Trenins and, stop putting Ben Jones in the lineup. Unless, like, absolutely necessary because, like, 9 players are hurt. Because Ben Jones doesn't do anything, for heaven's sake. Otherwise, I could give it to Ben Jones, but that's kind of kicking a guy when he's non-existent. Like, that's like punching the air. What's the point? Just leave him alone. Jiricek is the disappointment so far. Zuccarello came back, looked wonderful, 2 assists. We're happy in the 3 games. So, great. Still looks like the Mats Zuccarello we've all came to know and love the last several years. Other than his first year with Minnesota, which was very disappointing. But then he came back after re-repairing the injury to his wrist that he'd had 2 years before. It wasn't repaired properly. Something just wasn't right. And then, funny, the motion on his wrist was better, and then his skills went way up, back up to the moon, which is what they once were with the New York Rangers. And we started getting the Mats Zuccarello that was advertised when acquired by a certain guy named Paul Fenton from the New York Rangers. So that was cool. With that, I'm going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from DraftKings. And, and then we'll talk to Derek and maybe some others out there, see if some others got on there a bit. But, yeah, it's not even about talking to Derek. It's like hearing what he had to say. You know what I mean? That type of thing. It's not like, I'm just going to, it's cool stuff. So we're going to get to DraftKings right here and right now. Hockey is back, and this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and non-stop action you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips, from hockey player props to the thrill of live in-game betting. Every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. Well, let's look at the line upcoming. Minnesota Wild hosting the Anaheim Ducks. The first place surprising Anaheim Ducks coming up. There, we look at the money line and the puck line. Minnesota Wild hosting the Ducks, minus 135. Minus the Wild are a minus 135 on the money line. The Ducks plus 114. The Ducks on the puck line, the duck puck line, the Ducks are minus 218. They're visiting, of course, Minnesota plus 180. Going into that one. Also, you could look at the New Jersey Devils visiting the Washington Capitals. Puck line minus 218, and the Washington Capitals are a plus 180. Of course, Alex Ovechkin getting to 900 goals. The money line minus 142 for the hosting Capitals, and the money line for the Devils plus 120, to say the least. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly. I use this, and you should too. Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets in your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required for additional terms. And responsible gambling resources. Sorry, the page went down on me. See dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. And we are back here on Brave the Wild. Fan interaction at Brave the Wild, or attempting to do so. It's not even letting me switch. But I don't think there's anything new on there. We're just going to jump into Derek's messages. Some good stuff here to say the least. I'm just getting a black screen here on the screen. That's really helpful. Screw you. Good thing I have the smartphone with me at the same time. I had the messages already open, but I was going to check any responses. My God, so stupid. Let's hear from Derek right now. He listened to the show. That would be back on the 18th. And I want to add a little context to the James Shepard Memorial Popcorn Maker thing. It originated on the Wild.com message boards. James Shepard was kind of reviled on the boards for him being a bust, but even more so for being kind of aloof. Yeah, he was a dork. He was a dork. Yep. Continuing. Yeah, I mean, like me and my former co-host, God rest his soul, Neil Nate Dog Thiesing, were laughing our butts off all those years ago. Was it like 2011? We were laughing about, was it like Bert Blyleven, like, was pitching to him, and he said, "Can you slow it down?" It's just like, oh my God, embarrassing. Anyhow, where Cal Clutterbuck was crushing him. You know, he was crushing baseballs. Cal Clutterbuck. It's believable. Anyhow, so back to James Shepard. Derek says, from his ATV accident to his clueless comment he once made about Jacques Lemaire, where he kind of scoffed at the thought he had things he could learn from him, saying he's known all he's had to know about hockey since he was 3 years old. Like, what a moron. You're not going to learn from Jacques Lemaire. You know everything you need to know since you're 3 years old. So 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old hockey players know as much as Jacques Lemaire. Or anybody else. I just, wow. Anyhow, continuing, James Shepard basically also allegedly once asked, "What has Jacques Lemaire ever won?" Let's see. Let's Google something, okay, real quick. Let's play it here if we can. How many Stanley Cups has Jacques Lemaire won?
Jacques Clement has never won a Stanley Cup.
Okay,
you
wrong.
might be thinking of other players,
Lemaire,
like Jacques
you
Lemaire,
idiot.
who won 11, or
Yeah.
Bill Clement, who won 2.
Yeah, Jacques Lemaire won 11, you idiot. That Jacques Clement, you son of a... Yes, Jacques Lemaire won 11 cups. So maybe James Shepard was thinking about Jacques Clement. Jacques Clement has not... No, it is Jacques Lemaire, and he has won 11. 11. What has Jacques Lemaire ever won? 11. What have you ever won, Mr. James Shepard? Anyhow, continuing from Derek, needless to say, from his lack of talent or his obtusiveness, he deserved to be a permanent resident of the Wild press box as a healthy scratch. So we simply figured he could run the popcorn maker up there to make himself minimally useful somewhere. Yeah, he could make the popcorn, couldn't he? It's not about ownership or of who created it first. Yeah, no, I understand. If I said something stupid like that on the last show, I apologize. I didn't mean it that way. For me, though, all I'm saying is I randomly came up with the James Shepard Memorial. Like the popcorn part, no. I did not come up with the popcorn part. So clearly that was somebody. That was you guys over there on the boards. Me, I just randomly came up with the James Shepard Memorial for whoever, was disappointing the past week, the past month, the past whatever. Just, you have to come up with somebody. And I didn't want to name it the Marion Gabrick Award for like the positive side because I was kind of pissed off at the guy the way he left, kind of, and he didn't have a long enough career here. So it was Mike Modano. Anyhow, continuing. Yep, so it's not about who created it first. But to us on the boards, it was a well-earned mockery for a player who was a classic first-round pick, bust for the Minnesota Wild. I still remember Wild head scout Tommy Thompson's big comment about Shepard, and it was his size 18 skates. Big, okay, I'll swear here. Big fucking deal, Tommy. Yup, I agree with that. We passed on Anze Kopitar to select that kid. What a horrendous pick. But that was long patch of NHL fails at the draft table. A.J. Thielen, Tyler Kuma, Colton Gillies, and even Benoit Pouliot. Yeah, they were pretty bad. Benoit Pouliot ended up being a decent third-line player for other teams. But, he wasn't even that good of one, was he? He was more almost like a fourth-liner. Wasn't he, though? Yeah, when you're taking, fourth overall, you're supposed to be good. Not a third liner. Sure as bleep, not a fourth liner, right? So continuing, Derek says, not sure if you remember, there used to be a website, First Round Bust. So no, I do not know. I wish though. No, I don't. Yep. So no, I claim ignorance here. I'll start from the beginning. Not sure if you remember, there used to be a website, First Round Bust, which was a site that mocked all of the Wild's draft fails during those years. I wish I did know about that. I wish I did, because, yeah, I mean, that's why we said dumpster dog. He would look for, like, replacements. Kind of like Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah so far with the draft picks for the Vikings. That's coming back on them, isn't it? Well, hopefully J.J. McCarthy is not one, but Lewis Dean, bust. Lewis Dean is basically Tyler Kuma at best. Like, at best. He might not even be Tyler Kuma. He might be A.J. Thielen, but no, we'll say Tyler Kuma because I think he played a game or two for the Vikings. And, Kuma with the Wild. I think he played one game. Awesome. Anyhow, some of the folks that ran it were good people. Others were complete pricks. Yep. We kind of like, yeah, some people end up being, so there's so many jerks out there, aren't there? So I agree with that. People saying that place was great for inside information, but it was oppressively moderated. Yeah, so you can imagine the frustration there. Yep, and you remembered getting a 1 month ban for saying Zach Phillips was going to be a bust. I hope you don't. I hope you're okay with me reading this because it's good information. Dang it, I think this is good for the show. So I hope you don't mind me reading this, Derek. Derek Felska, of course, of the Crease Assist podcast, which is a fantastic show, which I highly recommend, and I always will. There's a reason why I listen to this show and highly recommend it, because it's awesome. So when I'm reading this, it's not because, I'm just going to spill the beans and no, this is good information. And, well, yeah, shows you that Derek knows what he's talking about. So he remembered getting a 1 month ban for saying that Zach Phillips was going to be a bust, which, again, reminds you of certain homers locally. And I have very little respect for that nonsense. Like, like you don't, we can't say this guy's disappointing. Well, screw you then. Then ban me all you want. That's kind of like the response, right? Derek says, I don't think Phillips proved me wrong. No, he really didn't. Zach Phillips didn't even come close to the NHL. And he was a first-round pick, wasn't he? I knew it before the Wild drafted him. He was an above-average player on a really strong St. John's Sea Dog team with Charlie Coyle, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Bierlo. So he benefited from not having to face the opposition's best defenders. He just wasn't a great skater. Yep, that was the big complaint with him. He couldn't skate at all, right? Or he was a below-average skater, and he didn't possess any skills that would make him have more utility, like penalty kill skills. Just what just happened. Okay, I hate when this stuff does this. Derek saw Zach Phillips with Houston after his Quebec Major Junior Hockey League days were done, or the Q. His lack of wheels/skating was very apparent, and he had some skills but couldn't adapt his game to have more ability beyond top six role. And he didn't score enough to stay there, so he quietly faded away. And the last I heard, he was playing in Europe, lesser leagues, like in England hockey. England and hockey is not a good combination. Let's check him out. Why not? That was going. Yep, it's going back a few years. Zach Phillips. Yep, 2012 or 2011. Yeah, this is the Brent Burns trade. Future Hall of Fame defenseman. Now 40 years old, skating with the Avalanche, trying to do a Ray Bourque, win a Stanley Cup late in his career, which he very well might. At the end of his career, not late in his career. And the Wild have, Charlie Coyle. He ended up being an okay third liner. Or no, sometimes he was better than that, but most of the time he wasn't. Zach Phillips, Crickets. What was that other stupid guy that we had for a minute there? Doggone it. I had his name in my head like a million times, and we'll get back to him in a minute. Yeah, but he was Setaguchi, right? Yeah, he was awful. He had a couple of good moments, but generally speaking, he was awful. Zach Phillips had 33. His best year in the AHL was 33 points, which is less than a half point a game. Less than a half point a game in 13-14. That was his best season in the AHL. Manchester Storm, that does sound like England, 23-24. Yikes. It's pretty crappy to say the least. I don't know what happened to this thing. It looks kind of weird. Mario Lucia was the same way. Fantastic numbers. And you see, this is why I like this. This is great information. It's good. Fantastic numbers in the BCHL and a very strong Peniction team. Then not a bad start at Notre Dame, but then he started to fade. Yeah, he kept getting weaker and weaker, didn't he? Had good hands, but wasn't a great skater, not explosive or quick, so it didn't matter. By the time he's playing in the Wild's minor league system, he wasn't fast enough to win the races, to lose pucks, and couldn't adjust his game to a checking role. That's what happened to Adam Beckman, too. Glowing junior score. Yeah, he was so good, wasn't he, in the juniors? Spectacular. But just an okay skater. He tried to make himself into a checker, but he just didn't have the wheels to be effective enough in that role. By all accounts, he really tried to make that switch, but because he knew he needed to, but it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, very sad indeed. And yes, Derek is kind of saying, let's be careful about Bennick. So yeah, because and we'll see how he translates. Yep, he's trying to keep things muted, kind of calm things down, and I totally understand that. Interesting indeed. Yep, so basically trying to be careful about that, and we'll see how things go. Ryder Ritchie going to the Boston U. Yep, so yeah, we'll see how things go with all of that for sure. But great thoughts. Gonna see how much more I wanted to jump into here. But no, I mean, that is generally, yeah, it's awesome stuff. Yep, let's say, yep, Joe O'Donnell has a lot to say usually too. Yep, and he's good. I like Joe O'Donnell as well. That's cool that he actually does a podcast too. So there you go for sure. So no, of course I wasn't trying to be all, I thought of James Shepard first. It just kind of, all I meant to say is I kind of randomly came up with the idea of James Shepard, and it's just ironic how other people, James Shepard Memorial, and it's ironic how other people had like that already there. So all I'm saying is I wasn't trying to copy. Basically, I wasn't trying to be a parrot and just copy stuff. So it's just funny how I guess great minds think alike. Maybe to look at it that way. That's the positive, kind way to look at it. I hope at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that might be the end of the show here, generally speaking. I'm just going to check and see if there's any kind of conversations here. There's group conversations, but it's just kind of being, back and forth and such. Man, I'm hearing noises behind me here. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, Wallstead had a shutout. Derek kind of recently had a poll. Which component of the Minnesota Wild teams concerns you the most? Forwards, defense, goaltending, and coaching. Looks like forwards won that one. I believe I didn't even vote, and I apologize. Coaching came in second. Forwards 32.9, coaching 28.6. But no, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag because I think he might want to keep these for his upcoming show here. So I better stop. So apologize. That's kind of a prequel, I suppose. Some people have been following. Thank you, people. Thank you. So I appreciate people that follow Brave the Wild. It means a lot. And I often follow back just because it's a hockey community, dang it, and I love you guys. I'm saying that with full sincerity. Anybody listening that's following Brave the Wild on Twitter, just thank you, or X, whatever we call it. Thank you so much. It's full sincerity. And Derek, thank you so much for the awesome insight you're bringing to this show and to yours. It's an awesome job. I also want to thank people like Paulo Burnett, Justin Bakke, do an amazing job on MNW Young Guns. So just great job there. Great job. Thank you guys. Minnesota Wild Global, great job as well. Wonderful Facebook page. Scott Cavendish and some many others. It's an awesome page. So just wanted to throw that out there. With that, I think I'm going to step away now and chill a little bit here. Not do anything crazy. Just relax, calm down. And just wanted to get behind the mic and, well, earlier in the day as I was out working and listening to some conversation and such, it's just like, when you hear Bill Guerin's comment, I'm like that, like I was kind of rolling my eyes at that, but also like about, Carson Lambos being stuck in the AHL. He's got only 1 point, by the way, which is extremely frightening. 1 point in 12 games. Things are not going well in Iowa again, just because, I don't know, this organization is frustrating. That's about the nicest thing I can say about it. Spacek, though, he's one positive, 6 assists so far, and he's actually was called up by the Wild. I don't know, Minnesota Wild. I'm not sure how that's going to go. generally speaking. But he's got 6 assists in 12 games, so that's encouraging for the most part. But overall, it's been frustrating. It's been frustrating. Like, Iowa's not been winning games. What are they? 4-7 so far. 4-7-1 on the year. Cal Peterson's positive, 2.72 goals against average. It's 3.36 goals against average. One shutout by Cal Peterson. That's one of the reasons why his numbers are a little higher. And he's been an NHL veteran. But yeah, Lambos has been 13 games and 1 assist. 13, yeah, because they just played another one recently. Jerry Mayhew's back. We appreciate him. 5 goals. No assists, and he's a -5 in 9 games. Jerry Mayhew's 32 years of age. So, Jack Pertz taking a baby step. 4 points now. Scoring his first goal tonight. 13 games. So, there's that. Sorry, I wanted to backtrack and look at some of those guys. But, there was that. But I was thinking, again, the David Jiricek trade. That's the kind of trade that can get a general manager fired. It absolutely is. Now, thankfully, Jiricek is only 21, so we don't need to sound the alarm just yet. He'll turn 22 right around Thanksgiving week here. I think that's on Black Friday. If it's November 28th, I do believe that's Black Friday this year. So, Jiricek, please. I mean, we're hoping here. We're really hoping that Jiricek can eventually show some signs here that there's more to him than meets the eye. But generally speaking, it's the kind of trade that can get a general manager fired. And I was thinking that's one of the things I wanted to come in with this show today, if I get behind the mic tonight, and I did. So I wanted to get that off my chest as well. And, of course, wanted to get Derek's wonderful information to your ears. I like that. I like the analysis he brought to us with these former Minnesota Wild prospects and just how disappointing it's been. Generally speaking, other than the first 3 or so years of this franchise, it's been pretty much, I don't know, like, what the hell? Oh, yay, we stepped up a little bit, but then it didn't end well, that type of thing. And then this draft pick didn't work out. This one didn't work out. This one didn't work out. And, but we signed this guy, and he's been he's been a plus. Cool. But then this one didn't work out, and this one, it's just, God, it's extremely frustrating. This trade ended up, sending us back like 5 years, 6 years. So, which might be exactly what's happening. And we just never played this guy, and it's frustrating. It's all bleep. So that's kind of been the theme. Sorry for dragging this on a little extra longer at the end, but I don't know. That's kind of what it's been about. With that said, thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back on Thanksgiving for sure. Maybe squeak in another show next week. We'll see how things go. But Thanksgiving for sure, God willing. We'll talk to you then.